Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on what has caused the world hunger crisis. So what has precipitated the onset of the world hunger crisis? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Lamentably, much to my dismay, much to my consternation, much to my chagrin, much to my agony, much to my grief, much to my distress, the causes of the world hunger crisis are indeed multitudinous. They are insidious, to say the least. Unfortunately, modern-day slavery has caused a host of direful, calamitous issues to transpire, one including the world hunger crisis. Modern-day slavery has resulted in people becoming chronically impoverished, chronically destitute, chronically indigent, and of course, insurmountably indebted. Out of all the three types of modern-day slavery, early life slavery is perhaps the most deleterious. Under duress, against their own volition, against their own free will, in this control market economy in which you have no purview over how your sacrosanct, indispensable, finite, precious, and valuable time is allocated, individuals are corralled into a 13-year K-12 insalubrious compulsory indoctrination camp, which some people refer to as a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp, while other people refer to it as a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory prison. People are essentially born prisoners in this controlled market economy. It's completely inhumane, sadistic, iniquitous, and malicious to dispatch someone to a 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp. People should be pioneers of their own destinies. The mandate to attend the 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp or indoctrination camp or prison dispossesses people of at least 37,440 hours of their sacrosanct, indispensable, finite, precious, invaluable time that they need to have to pull themselves out of the muck and mire and afford to be able to buy food products. When you're bereft of your time, when you're eviscerated out of your time, when you're dispossessed out of your time, you have no way of generating revenue. From a young age, individuals should focus in on cultivating behemoth brands across a multitude of social media platforms and creating income-generating assets. The only way to get out of poverty, unbeknownst to most people, is to have your recurring revenue streams as an aggregate offset your recurring expenses. When you attend the K-12 insalubrious compulsory 13-year concentration camp, nothing beneficent can ensue. You don't get any remuneration, compensation, grant, stipend, pension, benefits. You get nothing. What happens is you wind up succumbing to stunted growth, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You also succumb to accelerated cellular aging, in addition to telomere shortening. You never want your telomeres to truncate. You never want your chromosomes to unravel. You never want your DNA to be ravaged. Furthermore, when you attend the 13-year insalubrious K-12 compulsory concentration camp in this control market economy, it also can induce chronic stress, chronic fatigue, chronic burnout, and of course chronic depression. If you complete all the coursework and all the assignments, you're going to be dispossessed of at least 37,440 hours of your sacrosanct time, and you need that time in order to be able to eat nutrient-dense foods, in order to be able to indulge in quality deep sleep sessions for a prolonged period of time. And of course, you need that time in order to be able to cultivate lucrative brands across a myriad of disparate social media platforms. You need that time to be able to build your content reservoir and to build your product catalog. You need that time to be able to cultivate your recurring revenue streams so that you can afford to be able to attain your basic needs in this control market economy. If you're bereft, if you're dispossessed, if you're eviscerated out of your time to work, it's a calamitous recipe for insurmountable debt, chronic poverty, chronic destitution, chronic indigence, and of course, starvation. The causes of the world hunger crisis are multitudinous. Slavery, by evisceration fees, dispossesses people of their wealth because they wind up subsidizing the amenities, luxuries, the pensions, the benefits, the salaries, the accoutrements of the high life. A public welfare aristocrats, even though people work real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand, need the hard-earned money to be able to afford to buy food. If you work a real private sector job based on voluntary demand, your hard-earned money is remitted, it is transferred to public welfare aristocrats, and you wind up subsidizing their amenities, their pensions, their benefits, their salaries in this control market economy. Boondoggles jobs would never exist in a free market economy, because in a free market economy, people would not hire someone to work a boondoggles job. And in a free market economy, people would have purview over how their hard-earned money was allocated. Additionally, wage slavery has also exacerbated the world hunger crisis. When people do not have a livable wage, when they do not receive a subsistence wage, they cannot afford to attain their basic needs, such as housing needs and food needs. So they wind up choosing rent over food, and it culminates in them starving. Lastly, price floors have also contributed to the world hunger crisis. Individuals who have a monopoly on food supplies would rather pitch, purge, and relegate their food products to the dumpster than relinquish them at discounted prices. Furthermore, the lack of fruit trees everywhere has also contributed to the world hunger crisis. The world hunger crisis can be abruptly ended. It can be easily remedied by planting fruit trees everywhere. Fruit trees should be prevalent, ubiquitous, and widespread. In addition, there should also be a universal basic income so that everyone can unconditionally be able to afford to procure food products if there is going to be a price tag on food products. However, I do believe that there should not be a price tag on food products, especially since agriculture is innately automated. Fruit trees can innately bear fruits without any human interference. Vegetables can be cultivated unarable land supplies without any human interference. People should be able to have unconditional access to food, and a universal basic income should be furnished to people so that they can afford to attain their basic needs irrespective of their income levels. We live in a control market economy with no semblance of a safety net nor universal basic guaranteed income, in spite of there being over 13,000 evisceration fees imposed by bureaucratic apparatuses. People at the very least should be able to unconditionally have access to food products. If there's going to be a price tag on food, there should be a universal basic guaranteed income. However, there should not be a price tag on food, and there should be fruit trees everywhere. Furthermore, fortunately, vertical farming facilities can be automated. And the world has an agricultural production capacity to easily feed over 700 billion people. The causes of the world hunger crisis are multitudinous. And hopefully, the world hunger crisis can be abruptly ended. I hope that you deemed this video to be insightful and enthralling. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.